All right, today we are cracking the code on one of the most studied supplements in the entire world, creatine. But forget what you think you know. We're going to look way beyond the gym to see how this stuff can power up our energy, sharpen our focus, and maybe even change how we age. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? You absolutely crushed a workout, felt amazing, and then the next morning, you can barely roll out of bed. That deep, grinding ache, that stiffness, it's called DOMS. And yeah, it can make you feel about 100 years old. And hey, it's not just your body. What about that mental wall you slam into around 3 p.m.? You know, when your brain just checks out and you can't seem to string a thought together. Well, it turns out that physical soreness and that mental fog, they're actually way more connected than you might realize. And that's exactly why we've got to reframe how we think about creatine. For way too long, it's been pigeonholed as this thing only for massive bodybuilders. But the science, oh man, the science tells a totally different story. It's a tool for vitality, for anyone, and I mean anyone who wants to feel sharper and move better. So how does this stuff actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty because it's actually pretty cool. Think of it like a backup battery for your entire body. At its core, creatine is not some weird lab-made chemical. It's a natural substance your body already produces and uses every single day. Its main gig? To be your cell's on-demand energy source, the thing that kicks in when you're really pushing it, whether that's lifting a heavy box or just trying to solve a tough problem at work. This backup battery idea, it's honestly the perfect way to think about it. You know how you carry a portable power bank for your phone just in case? Creatine is literally that, but for your cells. Okay, so here's the play-by-play. Your cells run on this molecule called ATP. That's the main, fully charged battery. Every time you do, well, anything, you use up some of that charge, and the ATP turns into a low-energy version called ADP. That's a dead battery. This is where creatine swoops in. Its one and only job is to slap a phosphate back onto that ADP, instantly recharging it back to ATP. It's like a super-fast pit stop for your energy.
So where do we keep all this backup power? Well, the vast majority, about 95%, is stored right where you'd expect, in your muscles. Make sense, right? But check this out. It's that other 5%, the tiny amount stored in your brain, that is an absolute game changer for your mind. And here's why that little 5% matters so much. Your brain is an energy hog. It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it burns through a whopping 20% of your daily energy. It never stops working. So having that rapid recharge system on hand is absolutely critical for keeping you sharp. Now you might be thinking, cool, I'll just eat more creatine-rich foods. And you can get it from food, but, well, look at these numbers. To get just one effective 5-gram dose, you'd have to chow down on something like 10 steaks or 17 chicken breasts. It's just not practical. This is one of those cases where supplementation is really the only way to go. All right, so now that we know how it works, let's get to the good stuff, the why. What are the big 3 benefits you're actually going to feel? We're talking muscle, longevity, soothing those aches and pains, and getting a serious mental edge. First up, muscle longevity. Look, as we get older, we all start to lose muscle mass. It's a natural process called sarcopenia. But study after study shows that when you pair creatine with resistance training, it gives you a huge advantage, especially for older adults trying to build and maintain lean mass and strength. It's not a replacement for the work, but it's like a turbo booster for the work you're already doing. Benefit number 2, it's a silent soother. Remember that morning after stiffness? Creatine helps with that, but not like a painkiller. It works from the inside out. It actually helps stabilize your muscle cells during a tough workout, which can prevent some of the microdamage that leads to inflammation and soreness in the first place. Pretty cool, right? You just recover faster. And finally, the mental edge. Let's go back to our energy hog brain. By making sure your brain cells always have that backup battery ready to go, creatine basically acts as energy insurance for your mind. It helps you stay online and focused when you're stressed or tired, fighting off that dreaded brain fog. And this isn't just a nice idea. We've got the receipts. Check out this study. They took a group of people, sleep-deprived them for 21 hours, which sounds awful, and then gave them cognitive tests. The group taking creatine performed nearly 25% faster and had way better memory than the placebo group. I mean, under pressure, that is a massive advantage. Okay, so if this stuff is so great, why isn't everyone taking it? Well, probably because there are a ton of myths and just plain bad information floating around out there. So let's play a little game of Mythbusters. This is the big one, the myth that just won't die. Creatine will destroy your kidneys. Here's the truth. When your body uses creatine, it creates a byproduct called creatinine. So if you take more creatine, you'll have more creatinine in your blood. That's just basic math. For a healthy person, this is a totally normal and expected finding on a blood test. It is not a sign of kidney damage. We have decades of research confirming it's safe. Myth number 2, you'll just gain a bunch of puffy water weight. Okay, here's the deal. Yes, creatine makes you hold more water, but it holds it in the absolute best place possible, inside your muscle cells. It's called intracellular hydration. This not only makes your muscles look fuller and more toned, but it actually creates a better environment for them to grow and get stronger. It's functional water weight, the good kind. And finally, this totally outdated idea that creatine is just for men. No. That's completely false. It's incredibly safe and effective for women. In fact, some of the research on brain health and energy levels suggests it might be uniquely helpful for women. It helps build strength and tone, not unwanted bulk. Okay, myths busted. So if you're thinking, this might actually be for me, let's lay out a super simple action plan to get started. You've basically got 2 ways to go. You can do a loading phase where you take a higher dose for about a week to saturate your muscles fast. Or you can just start with a normal daily dose of 3 to 5 grams right from day 1. Honestly, both get you to the exact same place. The slow and steady approach just takes a couple of weeks longer. The number 1 rule, just be consistent. Take it every day. Now, when you go to buy some, you're going to see a wall of options. Fancy, expensive forms of creatine, promising all sorts of things. My advice? Ignore all of it. The science here is crystal clear. Creatine monohydrate is the gold standard. It's the one with all the research behind it. It's the most effective. And look at that price. It is by far the cheapest. There is absolutely no good reason to pay 10 times more for something that doesn't work as well. And of course, one final but really important tip. Even though creatine is one of the safest supplements you can take, it's always a smart move to chat with your doctor before starting anything new, especially if you have any pre-existing health conditions, just to be on the safe side. So here's the bottom line. We think nothing of carrying around a power bank to make sure our phone doesn't die. We buffer its battery against a long day. Creatine gives you the chance to do the exact same thing, but for the 2 most important things you own, your body and your brain. And isn't that worth thinking about?